All right, guys, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the current thing with video games and GPUs from my perspective. Now, if you've been at the channel for a while, you know that I've bought an NVIDIA GPUs, I've bought an AMD GPUs. I pretty much spent, like $5,000 this generation just testing different level of GPUs throughout the year to kind of try to figure out where I wanted to be GPU wise. And guys, it's never really an easy choice deciding if you're going to go with NVIDIA or AMD. Both of them offer incredible options and incredible things for the price that they sell these things for. I find myself now, I've been playing Black Myth Wukong. We got Star Wars Star Wars Outlaws coming out here pretty soon. And these games are featuring, and Dragon Age, and these games are all featuring NVIDIA ray tracing. Now, I don't know if it's ray tracing like it was in like Cyberpunk or, obviously Black Myth Wukong or Alan Wake 2. We won't necessarily, I don't know. I don't know how it's going to perform, but I will tell you this. Because this is pretty much why you're here. Do I feel like I made the wrong decision to sell the 4080 Super and keep the 7900 XTX? And it's not, it's kind of a complicated answer, to be truthful with you. There are games that I would like to see ray tracing, and I don't necessarily regret my decision to sell the 4080 Super, because I know that overall performance-wise, 7900 XTX, 4080 Super, pretty dang close, so it's not necessarily like I'm losing performance, but I am going to be missing out on that ray tracing on these newer games like Black Myth Wukong. Obviously, I wouldn't be trying to play that game at 4K with ray tracing. Obviously, like the 3440 by 1440p monitor is perfectly good enough resolution for me to get by with. And with the 4080 Super, guys, here's the thing. Here's the thing, guys. Like, I think ray tracing looks incredible. I really do. I think everybody does. You'd have to be an idiot to look at ray tracing and be like, oh, that doesn't look good. It clearly looks good. Like, it looks nice, and when it's done good and in a good game, it looks freaking phenomenal. Obviously, we're talking about like reflections and stuff, because that's the main thing that you automatically see. I don't think most people really notice like the global illumination or any of that kind of stuff as much as you notice reflections. And with you, when it's looking at some of the screenshots I have with Star Wars Outlaws and seeing that ray reconstruction with that ray tracing, it looks good. Like, that looks pretty dang good. Like, that looks clean. And so, like, I know the 4080 Super would have done great on the monitor that I have, ray tracing and all. I think the 4080 Super was a very good card. And my decision to keep like AMD over NVIDIA this generation is, I love NVIDIA. Don't get me wrong. I love NVIDIA. I think they are an incredible GPU, but I do feel, even right now, not even having a 4080 Super, I'm like, oh man, because you start to get that feeling when a game like Black Myth Wukong comes out, and it like brings these cards like to their knees, and you're like, dang man, and then it automatically, like, I don't even have the card anymore, and I'm like, oh gosh, dude, I'm gonna have to upgrade. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even have an NVIDIA GPU, and I'm already like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to upgrade. Like, I'm already getting that like, oh my gosh, I gotta upgrade feeling just by seeing these games and seeing the numbers and stuff. And of course, like, when I look at it and I'm looking at these settings and I'm like, oh my gosh, look what it's doing to that card. And I don't even play at 4K. Like, I play at 3440 by 1440p. Like, I am expecting Star Wars Outlaws to perform as well as it does on Avatar. Like, I am expecting, at least that kind of performance out of it on the 3440 by 1440p monitor. And the same goes for like a lot of these games. I'm getting pretty dang good performance out of Black Myth Wukong. Obviously I'm not using the ray tracing. I would like to see it, in like some of these areas that I'm in right now. I would like to see it, but I got to turn it on, then I got to get out of the game, then I got to get back into the game. And so I mean, like, obviously, you know, I'll maybe like do some like screenshots or something, but I do want to see it, guys. Like, I'm not saying that I feel like I made a bad decision, because I really didn't. I've got a very good card, does very well, plays a lot of the games I like to play. A lot of the games I like to play don't necessarily really ever come with a whole lot of ray tracing baked in. I mean, they might have like global illumination or something like that, which AMD is more than capable of running at a respectable frame rate. But when you get into some of these ray tracing features from NVIDIA, the video game nerd in me is like, dang, dude, you should have kept that NVIDIA card. But man, I know I could have. I had it in my hands. It was all paid off, everything. It just, switching out the cards all the time, man, it was getting ridiculous, man. Like, it was getting ridiculous, and I really don't want to build a whole nother PC. But I don't know, guys. All I can say is just choose wisely when you are buying your GPUs. If you take anything away from this video, just try to choose wisely. I mean, like, I love AMD. Everything about AMD is perfectly fine, aside from the whole ray tracing thing. I'm on 3440 by 1440p. I'm not really having to utilize FSR a whole lot like that. And when I do, it's usually because I'm downsampling, and it literally gets rid of the effect that FSR brings anyways, and it still looks incredible. So the DLSS thing is not as important to me because I don't game at 4K. But if I did, I easily would have chose NVIDIA for 4K. Like, I would have. You know, I mean, it just looks better on a 4K screen for the most part when you're using DLSS versus, you know, I mean, unless you've got a card that can run pretty much everything you want to play at 4K, you're fine. Like, when I'm playing some of the newer Sony games on the 4K, it looks absolutely incredible on the 7900 XTX. So I mean, 4K is not a big deal. It's just, if I was looking at long term for a GPU to play on 4K, I would probably go NVIDIA just for the DLSS factor. But when it comes to like overall performance, overall game, overall stability, overall drivers, all of that stuff, I think they're like neck and neck. Like, they both literally feel the damn same. They're both good. They both perform. I don't have any problems with AMD. I don't have any freaking problems with NVIDIA. It's just, it really mainly comes down to like user freaking interface. To be completely honest with you, I love AMD's Adrenalin software. If NVIDIA had something competing that was just as good, then my choice, seriously, every generation would be like, okay, what's gonna get me the best ray tracing? Seriously, it probably would be. Because I do kind of believe, after seeing these games, guys, we are getting close enough to where ray tracing is gonna start mattering. It is. And you know, next generation, I'm probably gonna end up with a 5090 and the highest end AMD card, because I want to see them. I want to see them both. But I might actually just build a whole second system and keep one of them for like ray tracing and the other one for AMD, because I don't know, man. I like them both. I think they're both incredible. I wish I could just, you know, guys, I wish I could just tone one of them out, but they both make it equally impossible to really, especially when you've had the opportunity to play with both of them and like find enjoyable experiences. Like, it really is tough to decide which one to keep. But for me, this generation, AMD was just a no-brainer. A no-brainer for me. In my price range of $1,000 for the GPU that I set for myself, I even went a little bit above to get a 4080 Super, but in that, where I put myself in that budget range for a GPU, I'm probably going to increase it next generation. I'm going to increase it next generation. So we'll find out. We'll find out what I end up with next generation. But like right now, guys, no, I don't regret it. But it would have been nice to actually have kept that card and still be able to see like some of this ray tracing on these newer games, guys. It's always like a there's always a gotcha. There's always a gotcha. You know, you're gonna keep one and you're not. I mean, I was planning on keeping it. I don't know why. I just all of a sudden was like, man, that's money sitting on a shelf. Started getting into this whole camera thing, and then I'm like, ooh, I want to put my money in the cameras and stuff. So I got rid of all the GPUs and started putting more money in the camera so that I can make better freaking content, because it looks good. It looks good. I like the content we're able to deliver now. So I don't regret it, guys. I absolutely love my 7900 XTX, but dang, man. That 4080 Super was an absolute beast, and I kind of still wish I had it. So we'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching, to me blabber on and be sad about not having my NVIDIA card no more. This kind of sucks, guys. All right, guys, we'll see you later.